Hi, my name is Tiffany Colon, and we are going to be going over the Great Recession, causes and responses. This is for the University of Arizona Global Campus Online for Dr. Isabel Juan. Let's get started as to the cause and responses. So we're going to be going over some of the objectives for this presentation. We're going to go over some root causes of the recession, some underlying policies surrounding the recession, changes to the economy as a result of the recession of 2007 and 2008, and economical policies that establish mitigating future risks, and some questions at the end. So first and foremost, what was the Great Depression? The Great Depression was an economic recession that occurred in the United States by a financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, and then quickly spread to other countries. So what were some of the leading causes of the Great Depression? One of the greatest leading cause of the Great Depression was the fact that the federal bank decreased lending rates by 4.5% in less than 2 years. So one of the large reasons for them doing this is because of the 2001 attack on the terrorist attack with the Twin Towers. In a state of emergency and turmoil, folks were hesitant, and the government wanted to stimulate the economy by reducing rates to almost 1% by 2023. As a effect, the SCE lowered the capital investment banking requirement at 5 major banks, whether that be Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, and as a result of this, anyone could get a loan for a car, and more excitingly, for a home. Another cause of the Great Recession was the banks sold these loans to investors. So these loans that we're calling subprime mortgages, which are basically crap mortgages for folks who can't even afford to own a mortgage, but because of the Fed's reducing rates so low and reducing any type of capital investments, anyone could get a bank loan. And these bank loans were sold to investors on Wall Street, which were then put together in these collateralized debt obligations called CDOs, which were then sold to investors. So let's go into a little more detail as to what a CDO is. So anytime you purchase a car, a home, a private loan, the bank then sells that loan to an investment bank, and the investment banks take all of these different loans in one nice package, and they sell them to investors. And as an investor, it's really appetizing to purchase these kind of investments because you make money when someone makes one of their normal principal or interest payments. And when thinking about homes, they seem like a great investment. Why wouldn't an investor gobble this up? So let's talk a little bit more about what a CDO is. So a CDO, as you can see here, is a group of folks get together and they buy mortgages. The mortgage is then sold to the bank, and the bank then sells those loans to investment bankers, which then packages up all of these different loans into a pool of investors, and investors eat these things up. Every time you make an interest payment, anytime you make a principal payment, the bank is then funding the investors. So let's see what happens when this doesn't go so well. So what happened in the Great Recession is all of these mortgages were defaulted, and then none of the streams of income were coming back to the pool of people, and the housing bubble occurred. So let's take a look at some financial and monetary policy. So just to reground us, a monetary policy includes some things like the Fed's reserve of reducing interest rates as low as possible, or a fiscal policy can include tax breaks, such as spending by the government to stimulate the economy. So before the before the Great Recession, as you can see, the reduction of rates went all the way down from 6.5 to 1.4%. That is a huge monetary policy push that led to the Great Recession in 2007 and 2008. During the recession, the government had huge tax reliefs to try to mitigate a recession from occurring. And then after the recession, in order to raise output or spending for the fiscal government, they had to increase demand. And how they did that was having federal policies include tax rates and spending, and then also include interest rates as low as possible. So let's take a look at the structure of the U.S. economy leading up to the Great Recession. So as you can see here, the Great Recession was relatively stable up until about 2000, when we had the terrorist attack. And what the government did was they lowered tax rates to get the economy slowly and steady increasing again, only for it to have a sharp and steady decline in 2009 as a result of the reasons we spoke about in the earlier sessions. Leading out of the global recession, we're going to talk about the American Recovery and Investment Act, which was a bill that was funded by Obama, and the bill included $831 billion of tax credits and cuts for unemployment benefits, healthcare, education, and new spending in infrastructure. So that sharp and American Recovery Act really got us on the up and up until COVID-19 in the 2000s, which in turn led us to a whole other turmoil of activity, which we'll discuss at a later time. So what are some economic policies that we can put in place to ensure that there's never a recession again? The first one is boosting the unemployment and SNAP benefits, or food income benefits. As you can see from this chart above, this is a chart of all 50 states, and the monthly uninsurance benefits are too low to even cover basic household expenses. The darker shades of purple show where the greater the deficit is, but as you can see, there's not a single state in the United States that has unemployment insurance benefits that can cover essential basic needs. So that's the first step in ensuring that there isn't a Great Recession, is having a strong income replacement program to feed Americans and stabilize the economy in case of any turmoil. In addition to this, another strong policy is having quick and accessible financial stimulus relief checks. So the ability to provide immediate relief without any government intervention is essential. The last economic policy that really needs to have a lot of strength is strengthening income support levels. As you can see from this chart, more Latino and Black groups are greatly affected in a recession. They are the disadvantaged group, and by the United States closing that income support level, there will be less disproportionate folks of individuals and fewer concentrated of disadvantaged groups when a recession hits. In conclusion, the 2007 and 2008 recession was a huge global economic turmoil that was largely due to the fact that there was poor monetary and fiscal policies, lack of scrutinization on investment banking, weakened SEC income limits on loans so anyone can get a loan, weakened income support levels, and then also an increase in income divide. In order for us to ensure that we do not follow in the footsteps of the Great Recession of 2007, we have to strengthen our income support levels, like disability insurance and insurances for unemployment benefits, and also increase the income or decrease the income divide. Are there any questions? Any references that were viewed in this presentation is noted on the last slide. Thank you very much.